So the default UI and nameplates in WoW are still pretty hilariously bad, and I can only recommend to move away from it as quickly as possible if you want to take the game somewhat seriously. It has very little customization options, almost zero to no individuality, and it will certainly get really messy and cluttered once you start pulling a lot of mobs, especially in Mythic Plus situations. I had that same issue, and shortly after I went out to find the perfect plater or platinator pack that would fulfill my needs, and I can finally say that I probably found the best plater and platinator profile that's out there for Midnight Season 1. In this video I will be showing you everything about the Jundi's plater and platinator profile, how to set it up, how to customize things, and why it is even as good as I describe it to be. I also want to quickly mention that I stream on twitch.tv/Varian, so if you have questions about this profile or just want to hang out with me and the community and play some WoW together, feel free to drop by and say hi in chat whenever I'm live. Alright, without further ado, let's jump straight in. Before we can start using this profile, we have to install the plater add-on first. To do that, I recommend you to get yourself the CurseForge app or the wowup.io client. Once you get one of those, just search for Plater and install the add-on. And that's pretty much it. Now to get this Plater profile, all you have to do is click on the wago.io link in the description of this video below, click on copy import string, open up your Plater settings by either clicking on the minimap button or by typing /plater into your chat. Go to the profile section and click on import profiles and paste the copied string into this box right here. Now all you need to do is reload your game, which the add-on already prompts you to do, and you're all set. Now that the profile is loaded and the add-on is correctly set up, you will quickly see that the mob's health bars will have different colors, sizes, and other miscellaneous features, and you need to know what they mean if you want to take advantage of this profile. So to begin with, the colors of the mobs all mean something else. A red bar is the default NPC color, which is on mobs that don't have any special perk or effect that would need to be highlighted by another color. So these mobs are just trash, like the famished broken at the beginning of the Seeds of the Triumvirate dungeon, which don't really have any special thing going for them. Then there's the teal color, which indicates that the mob is a caster that will require interrupts at some point. This is probably one of the biggest highlights of this list. Knowing this information will make your keys so much easier to handle, and especially as a tank, you should always know which mob casts stuff to be able to interrupt them in order to group the packs up correctly and smoothly. The blue colored mobs are way rarer, but they are the second caster that requires some sort of interrupt or kick, so a second priority mob, so to speak. You should still focus the teal mob first before you move over to the blue one, as the teal one is currently more dangerous with its casts. Now the next ones are kinda minor, but still valuable information, like the pink one indicating that this NPC is a high priority mob and should be killed as quickly as possible. Those are usually just the bosses, so if you ever lose a smaller boss inside a crowd of mobs, you can always identify it by clicking on the pink health bar. Then there's the purple-ish health bar, which indicates that this mob has a high health pool. These are usually mini-bosses like Glaciath towards the end of the Pit of Sauron dungeon, or the Phantasmal Mystics in the Windrunner Spire. Then there is one for the friendly nameplates, where the nameplate of your healer or DPS turns orange once a mob has aggro on them, or have someone fixated, like in the Icken Crick fight in Pit of Sauron. And lastly, as a tank, you will see mobs you don't have aggro on, also in an orange color, signaling that you should get aggro on that mob as quickly as possible to prevent your team from falling apart and eventually dying. But that's not all the nameplates have to offer. There's a priority-based size scaling on all the nameplates you currently have pulled, which will automatically sort every mob's nameplate by size, showing you which ones have more priority than the others. The largest one is used for enemies with great importance, like certain totems that need to be destroyed, like the Stone Vault ones for example. Then there's the medium one that's used for enemies that do basically nothing but deal damage to the tank. Small, which is used for the lower health trash mobs, like the before mentioned Famished Broken, and the extra small, which is for mobs that literally do nothing and basically have a decorative health bar. This size scaling really helps out the tank and the DPS to focus on the important mobs first, and combined with the colored nameplates, this will most definitely help you identify the biggest threats in the packs before it's too late. But wait, there's more. There are miscellaneous features that the average player won't really be able to use to its fullest, but better players that want to improve and push higher and higher keys will need, like a small health marker that will indicate an incoming phase change at that moment, or the nameplate turning grey when a mob has massive damage reduction ability on it. There's also the feature that will show you important CCs right next to the nameplate to better time a string or chain CC to be able to shut a bigger pack of mobs down for an extended period of time. The cast bar of the enemies are also completely completely revamped and give you so much information you didn't know you needed. A normal, interruptible cast of an enemy will always be displayed in this yellow color, and if you kick successfully and your interrupt is on cooldown when the next cast happens, it will be displayed in this orange color, signaling that you will either need some sort of CC or ask your teammates to kick this one. Now, if your kick would come back up before the cast is finished, you will see a green line in the cast bar showing you when your interrupt will be back up again. This basically gives you the massive information that you will be able to handle the incoming spell, and this way you can save on some of your other CCs or your teammates' interrupt and CC abilities, making it way easier to coordinate in a group environment. But what if you don't want to interrupt the ability and simply want to reflect it with your spell reflect on a warrior? Well, the developers of this profile also thought about those situations and implemented a pink cast bar, which indicates that your spell reflect is up, the spell is targeting you, and is reflectable. So literally 3 key informations given to you without you having to swing your eyes across the screen to find your spell reflect and then praying that the ability is reflectable in the first place. Prot paladins will also be able to make use of this pink bar, as for them, this color will indicate that they have their Avenger's shield up and can kick this cast that way. And not even that is everything. You can literally turn on a feature that will show you an estimated time for when the NPC you're currently fighting is about to die, which is baffling to me honestly. This way, you can chain pull together way better, or if you're a DPS, see if it's worth to press your 20-second damage buff, for example. Purgeable abilities on your allies and enemies will be displayed with a moving border. Important casts will always be highlighted and are designed in a way where they will 100% of the time stand out in a massive group of mobs. At the beginning of this video, you probably didn't even know how much information you can give a player by simply painting everything in a different color, but this profile makes it work incredibly well. Everyone who loved Quasi's Plater profiles every season will fall in love with this one, as it is pretty much the same thing with a few more tweaks and optimized to be functional after all the add-on nukes Blizzard attempted with the Midnight expansion. Obviously, if you want to change individual things and adjust this profile to your liking, you can do that. Just go to the colors/threat segment of the add-on and adjust every single thing to your liking. So it's genuinely just really simple. I know the add-on might look very daunting at first when you first open it up, but it is really simple to handle once you get a hang of it. As I mentioned before, all the mobs are colored differently depending on their class and what they do and if they are dangerous and so on, but you can change every single one of those. As I mentioned, casters are the teal color, but you could just change it to purple if you wanted to. If you are a tank and you want to change how it looks when an enemy has aggro on you, you can just change everything regarding the tank spec right here. And if you are a DPS or healer and want to change the same things, you can change it here. If you don't like the orange color when someone has aggro on you, you can just simply change it to red. You could change the no aggro to green, which means that you're safe, and change aggro on you to red, which would indicate that you're now in danger. You can simply change any color I mentioned in this video already to anything else you want to. If you are colorblind, you can adjust every single one of those colors to better fit your preference. I could imagine that you might have issues seeing all of these colors because they are very similar to each other if you are colorblind. So you can just change them around and personalize it for yourself. And if you ever want to share it again for whatever reason, maybe a friend of yours wants your profile, so you could just technically go to profiles and share profile, copy this and post it to your friend, and he will have the exact same changes you did. So if you change anything here and then export the profile or share the profile, those changes will go with it. Same thing goes for cast bars. You can just go to the cast bar section and then change every single one of those right here. If you don't like the regular yellow color in cast bar, you can just change it to green. You can literally adjust anything you want to in this profile. Nothing is limited and you can change everything. And if you are ever looking for something in all of those tabs right here, you don't have to just skim through all of those. You can just go to the search bar and then type in things like nameplate, and then it will show you anything that's containing the nameplates in general, like the overlap, the size, the always show nameplates out of combat, show friendly nameplates. You can change every single one of those settings, and you can just look them up if you don't know where those settings are. You can obviously also adjust the sizes of all these nameplates. So if you go to general settings, you will see right down here the health bar width, health bar height. You can change every single one of those. The game will lag a little bit when you change those, but you could just crank them all up for, whatever reason. You could do it and personalize it to your liking as well. If you don't like how the health bars look in general, you can also go to the general settings where we already are and change the texture as well. So you can put the Blizzard default bar here. You could add the details dictum. which looks kind of weird. You can add some funky ones like EQL Holy. You really have no limitations regarding this add-on, so you can just put it on all black, but then obviously you won't see the assigned colors to the health bars anymore, so beware of that. You can really just play around with the entire settings menu in this add-on, so you really aren't limited to anything here. If you want to change the font of an enemy, you will have to go to the enemy NPC tab, where you will see right here the NPC name text menu, or like the NPC name text segment, where you can change the font to whatever font you have installed on your WoW client right now. If you want to adjust the cast bars, like I mentioned before, you should go to the cast bar segment and toggle the cast bar test menu, where every single mob would start casting an ability now. Then you can adjust them however you like, or you adjust the width and the height back in the enemy NPC segment again. There's really no limitations to it. You can just play around with it for hours until you find your perfect setting in this game. But as I mentioned, this profile is quite literally perfect for Mythic Plus environments, and I wouldn't really change that much unless you have some visual issues due to color blindness or whatever else you may have. Other than that, I would really not fiddle around with it that much. It has really been perfected over the years, and I don't think there's much else to do besides like changing the colors, as I mentioned. This profile is an insane step up to the default Blizzard UI and will help you have a better overview in what's going on in your key right now, and give you better control over the mobs and their dangerous casts. Here you will see a side-by-side of four, one with the Plater add-on and its profile, and one with the default Blizzard UI. As you can see, the Blizzard UI is just a messy blob of health bars at some point, and it's really hard to see who's casting what and which of these enemies are dangerous in the first place. Everything overlaps, the health bars all look the same, you can barely read the names and distinguish the NPCs. I could just focus a random non-elite for all I know, and I will probably never notice. Looking at the Plater profile though, you will quickly see that it's insanely polished and you never lose sight of dangerous mobs, what they are doing right now, and if you have to reposition yourself in order to kick a cast or prevent your team from dying. And if you are not a fan of Plater in general, fear not, as this profile also works for the Platinator users out there. People using it with Platinator, me myself included, can almost tell no difference to the Plater version. So you even have somewhat of a choice when it comes to add-on choices. But what do you think of this profile? And will you get it yourself? Let me know down in the comments below, and while you're down there, consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. If you want to be mentioned at the end of my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member and support me and this channel even more. I also got a massive playlist of guides regarding this first season of Mythic Plus and Midnight, so you might want to check that one out as well. If you want to be mentioned at the end of my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member and support me and this channel even more. Anyways, that's it from me. I wish you all a great rest of the day, and I will see you in the next one.